Hey guys, it's Annie Margarita Yang back with another video for you today. Today's Thursday, January 25th, 2024. And today I want to talk to you about this blind spot that's about if I'm so good at what I do, they're going to somehow find me anyway. This was inspired by a session that I had with Peter when he was still unemployed. He got a job, so that's great. But yeah, it was one of the things that was leading him to not get a job, and that was the blind spot that he had. So I want to talk about that. But before I go into that, I want to get your opinion on passive aggressiveness in the workplace. So today I went into the office and had a very passive aggressive encounter with a coworker, and I'm just wondering, was it something I said? Was it something I did? I don't know what I say or do that just tips someone off to be very passive aggressive toward me. And then I went on YouTube after I got home from work, and then I typed into the search bar passive aggressive people at work, and then the first search result that comes up is this video from Harvard Business Review, and I'm like, oh, Harvard Business Review, it must be credible. And then it's just talking throughout the video about how if someone's being passive aggressive towards you, it must have been something you said or did that caused someone who's very non-confrontational to get triggered to be passive aggressive towards you. And I mean, I've had people be passive aggressive toward me for the last 5 years in the workplace, and I'm not really sure if it's something I said or did. I think I need to start recording things, almost like how the police have a body cam. I think I need to start just having a recorder that's on at all times if I ever go in, because it's just I need to analyze, was it something I did or said that just triggers someone to be passive aggressive toward me? And I don't really know. What's your opinion? We're bound to meet passive aggressive people in the workplace anyway, right? Everyone has those experiences. Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, so let's get started on if I'm so good at what I do, then they're going to somehow find me anyway. Peter. When I was working with Peter, I helped him make his resume, and because I was recording the sessions, hoping to later maybe edit these to turn them into a whole episode, almost like how Gordon Ramsay has his reality TV show, The Kitchen Nightmares, where he goes in and he sees this failing restaurant and he's going to turn around. Well, I'm gonna take somebody who's been unemployed for 6 months or a year, I'm gonna just do what I can to turn things around, almost like a 5-day job search boot camp, and maybe by the end of it we'll see whether they get a job or not. And then maybe this could be a reality TV show, and maybe in the end it could be something that's a good idea to pitch to Netflix even. And so that's why I was recording it, because I wanted some inspiration to piece all of this together. And one of the things is, when I finished working with him on the resume, because I wanted to keep his contact information private, because I'm recording it and I don't know when I'll release it to the public. I still haven't edited them yet. But I was recording it and I was well, I don't want people to know his cell phone number or his email address. That's only for where he wants it available, right? So I said, for now, while I work with you, we're gonna use a placeholder 555, 555, 5555, and then John Doe at gmail.com or something like that, just a placeholder. But after we're done with this session and after we get off this call, just go back and then replace all that sample text to be your actual information before you upload that resume to the different job board platforms. He's like, yeah, I understand. I understand. And then next week we had another session, and that's when I asked him, well, how's the job search going, right? You've been applying to jobs at this point, because his resume was all ready to go. He just had to upload it and then start applying to jobs. And he's like, oh, no one's called me back. I don't know why. And then I was like, that's strange, because the resume is all set to go. And then I was like, did you happen to edit the resume after we were done speaking? Because, sometimes I do know, I've had experience in the past when I helped someone edit something to be just practically perfect, pretty much good to go. and then they edit it in such a way that it just like ruins the writing. There are people who do that. They don't like follow my professional advice. They just really want to do things their own way. So after I'm done doing the work, they just want to edit it even more and make it better, which actually makes it worse. And so I was wondering if he was doing that. So I was like, can I like just go in on your Indeed right there, and can we click the download button and download what you uploaded, and let's open that up. So we downloaded it and we opened it up, and at the top, get this, he removed all of his contact information. Like, there was no contact information at the top. And I was like, Peter, if someone likes what they see on your resume and they want to contact you for an interview, how on earth are they supposed to get in touch with you to extend the opportunity? And then his response, it's like the punchline of a joke. He said, well, if they really wanted to hire me, they'll find a way. And he said it like with such seriousness. It wasn't like a joke to him. He like genuinely believed that if they really wanted to hire me, they'll find a way to contact me. They'll know how to find me. I'm like, no, they're gonna throw it in the trash. And then he goes, but they can like somehow find me on LinkedIn, and then if they go on my LinkedIn, then if they go through my LinkedIn, they're gonna find my contact information. I was like, no. This just goes in the trash can. You're not getting the interview. We gotta fix this right now. We gotta add your contact information back in so people can contact you. And he was like, full contact information? I was like, yeah. And then it's not just him. Like, there was someone else, a teacher that I helped, a public school teacher. I helped her write her resume, and her hesitancy with putting her contact information on her resume was she didn't want to put her full home address. Like, she just wanted to put the fact that she lived in Queens, New York. She didn't want to put like the full address. And then she's just like, I want to protect my privacy. I don't understand why it's so important to put my full contact information and things like that. And I was like, well, if you're gonna apply for a job that's far away from where you live, one of the concerns that employers would have is, do you have a reliable way to get to work? Like, what if you lived in Queens, New York, but like, I don't know, you're applying to work at a school in the Bronx. There's like no direct train to go from Queens to the Bronx. Or like, what if you want to work in Staten Island? Like, employers don't want to know your address just to stalk you and figure out where you live and all of your personal information. All they want is, like, their concern is simply, does she have a reliable way to get to work consistently on a daily basis? So that's why it's important to put your full address. Another like red flag, I think, is if you don't put your full address, it's almost like, do you actually live here, or are you like some sort of out of town transplant that's doing some sort of like cross country move? So if you just simply put like, I don't know, Boston, Massachusetts without putting the full address, it's almost, it would make me question, like, do you actually live here in Boston right now? And you just, or do you not have like an actual address? You get what I mean? That's the reason why. But yeah, what Peter did was just, I don't know. He's very, very intelligent, very smart guy. But like, people make these kind of stupid mistakes in their job search because they have this blind spot. He had this blind spot that he wasn't aware of that I had to identify and fix. So I'm just letting you know, because maybe you have this blind spot. Like, oh, if I'm so good at what I do, they'll find a way to contact me. No, they're not. Another thing is like, I discovered this when I finished launching my book, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to get interviewed on podcasts. And you know, like a lot of podcasts, there's solo podcasts where it's just the host only, but then there's like host and guest interviews, right? So I'm doing the type of podcast that have guest interviews, and what I did was I exported a list of podcasts and the genre and how many listeners they had, like a whole bunch of data about like a whole bunch of career and business related podcasts from the website. It's called Rephonic, phonic.com. But the problem is, now that I have this list, how do I contact the shows? And so I was going through the list and I was starting to do my cold email, right? And then I was like going down the list, and then already like third down from the list, I was like, okay, there's a show that I want to be on. How do I contact the host? Where's his email address? And then I looked all over. I opened every single Google search result for this guy's podcast, and I look on every page, there's no contact information. I was like, how does anyone get on this guy's show? How do people get on the show? He doesn't have contact information, so if someone wants to be a guest, how do they even reach out to him? And then like I think he had a LinkedIn, but then like he wasn't really active on LinkedIn, so I was like, if I add him now, I mean, when's he gonna see the message, right? And I have to say, I spent like probably 30 minutes just trying to track down this guy's contact information. And in the end, I wasn't successful after those 30 minutes. So I had to go around it by actually looking through his old episodes and then looking up his guests. So I would like find his guests on LinkedIn, or if they had a website, they put their email address up. So I would have to comb through all of that and then email the guest and ask, hey, you were a guest on his show. How does somebody get on the show? I'm sorry, I'm just a stranger emailing you to ask, but I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out how to even contact the host. And then, the guest was actually so kind enough to email me back. But then I realized, wow, actually a lot of people make it very difficult to contact them, even though they have a show. And he's not the only one. This is actually a very common pattern. And this is just a potential blind spot for why you might not be getting calls or emails for opportunities, is simply that you're not making it easy for someone to get in touch with you. So one of the things you can do to solve this issue is two things. So if you don't want people to know your personal cell phone number, which is understandable, why would you want to put your personal cell phone number online? Unless you're like me, right? Then you can get a Google Voice number and have that Google Voice number forward to your actual cell phone number. And that's the one that you could post online to at least keep some anonymity, right? And then the other thing is, at the very least, you have like a professional email address, right? You don't have to put your personal email address, but you could have a professional email address, just like my professional one is Annie@AnnieYangFinancial.com. So it's just for work. People should be able to contact you regarding work. And what you do is on your LinkedIn profile. So if someone's not a connection to you on LinkedIn, they cannot see your contact information actually. So when they click on like view more, they actually can't see that unless they're a connection. And it also depends on the settings that you put in the privacy section of LinkedIn, whether you want to show that contact information or not to your network, right? So what you can do is, in the section where you have the summary, like people can write their bio, that area, I think it's the objective or summary, I don't remember what it's called. What you can do is, in that section there, you can, at the very last line, after everything is all said, to contact me, please email me at blah, 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 right? So that way people have a way of getting in touch with you, even when they're not your LinkedIn connection. And I recommend you do this because, I'll be very honest, I don't check LinkedIn every day myself. So when someone messages me on LinkedIn, I probably won't see it until 10 days later. Like, it just like isn't at the top of my radar of like where to check messages. I check my email every day though. I'm very much on top of my emails. So if someone emailed me, I would get back to them right away. If they message me on LinkedIn, it might take me like maybe 2 weeks to get back to them. So, and I actually think a lot of people are even a lot worse than that. A lot of people only go on LinkedIn when it's time for them to like spruce up their profile and get a new job. that's the majority of the population. They're not like people who are on LinkedIn actively using the platform and things like that. So who knows? Some people are on LinkedIn only every 2 years when it's time for them to look for a new job, or every 5 years. Who knows how long they stay at their job, right? So that's why it's important to add your email address so that people can contact you, because people aren't checking their LinkedIn messages every day, and then when they don't check it every day, it piles up real quick. I probably get like maybe 2 messages a day that I don't check, and then it piles up real quick, and then your message can get lost in those flood of messages. Yeah, so that is the lesson for today. Make it easy for people to contact you, because if you don't, they're not going to go out of their way to somehow get in touch with you. You have to make it easy for people. That's it for you guys today. It is so late right now. It is like 10:30 p.m. Yeah, I had 2 naps today. I had a nap time at noon, and then I had a nap time at 6 p.m. And I took like 2-hour naps for each of them. So that's why it's so late right now, because I literally just woke up maybe 2 hours ago to eat dinner. So yeah, but it was a nice day. I think I can easily fall back asleep right after I record this and upload this. If you want to stay in touch with me because of the ways things are going with censorship and getting shadow banned, then make sure you add my phone number on Signal. It's 806-544-2929. There's a lot of censorship going on the internet these days, and the best way to get in touch with me, stay in touch, is with Signal, because the messages are end-to-end encrypted and the government has no access to our messages. Email is not good. I know a lot of like marketers promote email, but that's like really, I feel like it's to protect people's like personal cell phone number, right? Email is no good because the email provider has the ability to just dump my emails into spam, or maybe make it such that whatever I'm saying just never gets delivered, and I would never know and the recipient would never know. So really, I think to do things the old-fashioned way, when people actually had phone numbers back then, I think is the most secure way to go. That's it for you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.